All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started here. If you will, please join me and stand, and we'll have a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you on this beautiful day, and we thank you for the sun, we thank you for the rain, we thank you for this interesting year of weather, and for filling up our lakes and reservoirs. We just ask, Lord, that you help anybody who had damage over the weekend, that you would help them to get back in business or get their homes back resituated. We come now before you with an agenda and ask that you would preside over this meeting for us, guide us through each agenda item that we might make the decision that is appropriate. We just pray for all of these that have come today. We pray for the county employees, for the taxpayers of this county, for employees and employers, and we just thank you, Father, for the quality of this community. We just celebrate now your birth here coming up within the next couple of weeks. We just thank you, Lord, that you loved us enough to come save us from our sin. We turn this over to you now in Christ's name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, it's a few moments after 9 o'clock. Today is the 14th day of December 2015. This is our first meeting of the month of December, and we will begin with item number 1, public comments or requests for information on non-agenda items in accordance with Section 551.042. Does anyone wish to speak at this time? Have we had any requests this morning? Anyone wish to speak at this time? Item number 2, consider and possibly approve minutes from our November 23, 2015 special meeting of the Commissioners Court. That was our evening meeting, second meeting in November.
Judge, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton for approval of those minutes.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Joyce, for preparing those. Item number 3 and 4 are somewhat related. We have Charlie Smith with our Industrial Development Corporation back with us today to bring us a couple of additional requests for tax abatements, and that usually means good news because somebody is building and expanding, and it looks like we've got additional expansion from Prefert Manufacturing and a new name with us today, Diamond C Trailers. So Charlie, I'll turn it over to you. I've got a brief summary here. Looks like Diamond C is going to spend about $712,000 and Prefert's going to spend about $5 million. Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's good. All right.
Would you like to do these individually?
Yes, please.
As they are on the agenda. Road Clipper is the official name for Diamond C, and they notified me that they were in plans to build a 30,000 square foot building, and they had about $250,000 for a total of 750,000 new investment in the community. Under that investment and under your tax abatement guidelines, the company qualified for a 3-year abatement. That is an abatement of just the new building, just the new equipment. Anything that's existing on the ground at this time would not be abated. The abatement would be 90% the first year, 75% the second year, and 35% the third year. In all cases, our abatements stair-step down, and that's the way we do it. The expansion is expected to create 30 new full-time jobs within 12 months and 50 new jobs within 24 months. Now that's a total of 50, not 50 on top of the 30. A total of 50. And this was passed by the City Council on November 4th. And, excuse me, it was passed by the Industrial Development Corporation on November 4th and by the City Council on November 17th. and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have about it.
Will you go over those figures again? Because either I didn't hear them right, or what I'm looking at, I'm not seeing the complete picture. What was the total on the equipment in the building?
The total on the building is $500,000, and the total on the equipment is $250,000.
Do we have a copy?
Do I have an old copy?
Why, I'm showing $610,000 on the, $610,000 on the
Judge, we
building and $102,000 on the
we
equipment.
revised that during the process, and I apologize to you. Yours is correct.
Okay, so you want me to sign something different than this one? Because again, it looks like the total is about, according to mine, about $712,000, and you're saying it's going to be closer to what, $750,000?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'm looking for my notes here. Give me just a minute. $610,000 for the building, and a total of $712,000.
Okay, so that is the correct number rather than that 500 and the 250. Okay, so the copy I have here does reflect that. All right, any questions?
I was just going to say that's a precinct, and it's a good project, and it's solid, and I make that motion.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Fields for approval of this tax abatement request, second by Commissioner Riddle. Generally speaking, Charlie, what are they going to be doing with this new building and new equipment? What does this enable them to do?
They're adding a new production line. They have, these operations are set up in a line, and right now they have to, when they have a custom order, they have to break into the line to build the custom, and by adding the new line, they can dedicate a line almost entirely to custom line and keep their production moving forward through the process.
Okay. And 30 additional employees fairly quickly, and
Yes.
another 20 in the next year or two, or in the next 2 years. That's great. Okay, I've got these 4 copies, and I'll get them signed and get them to you. All right, let's take a vote on that. All in favor of approving this tax abatement request that's been presented by Charlie, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, let's move on then to item number 4, consider and possibly approve an abatement agreement with Prefert Manufacturing.
I believe it was about 2 months ago we did a tax abatement for Prefert. That was for a separate project altogether, so this is entirely new. Some time ago you may have read that the Prefert was planning or considering, I should say, an option to build a building and add some production in Louisiana. And this was a decision that took a couple of months to make, but they're going to put that addition here. They're going to put 42,500 square feet of new manufacturing facility here in Mount Pleasant. They're going to add in that facility what's called a tube mill. They have existing tube mills now, but this will be a new one. And eventually they'll add another, what's called a slitting machine. But in this case, the total investment is $5 million. The total new full-time employees, they'll create 20 new full-time jobs within the first 15 months, and within the first 12 months, and 35 within 24 months.
Will this building be back there in the back, and we'll see the construction from the new road?
The plans show this building actually going in front. They have a offload facility where they take these big, what's called master coils of steel off the railing, and it'll actually be in front of that, kind of between where the pond is now and that other facility.
It's the old Glover feed mill there, and it's kind of set kind of to the back. You really look at the little pond, and you look straight back.
Okay.
Back there.
In addition to that, they're going to build sales. They're moving their on-site sales office to the back, and it will be back there along. The project we did a couple of months ago was some shipping facilities that were in the back, and this new sales yard and sales office.
That would be on the new 4,000 back there. There's two different facilities back there they're working on.
This tax abatement is 90% abatement for the first three years, in years 17, 18, and 19, 75% in years 20 through 23, 50% abatement in years 24 through 26. Trying to think, I think that's about everything that, again, this was approved by the IDC board, and it went to the city council, and the city council approved it on November 17th.
The values on these improvements will continue to be appraised by the appraisal district. Absolutely. And may continue to go up during that time.
In most cases, the values of the equipment go down because the equipment depreciates in value. The building may stay the same, may go up, may go down, depending on the market. But you have to have a baseline of where it is at the time of the construction, and this is based on the construction estimates that the company gets and that sort of thing, and then they turn the values into the tax appraisal district. The tax appraisal district, as part of our due diligence, if you will, we request that they provide us, not the appraisal district, the company provide us with their paperwork to the county appraisal district to verify that they put that much in and it's on the tax.
Okay.
Judge, again, this is my precinct, and they've done some good work, good solid projects, and definitely new jobs for the county. And I make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields to approve the tax abatement for Preferred, which again is going to last up through 2025.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor of approval of this request, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Charlie, thank you very much. I'll get these signed as well. If I can get those 2 copies back from y'all so I can get those signed.
Thank you.
Item number 5, consider and possibly approve acceptance of infrastructure improvements by the City of Mount Pleasant as part of the city's contribution toward the Loop project. Carl, you want to give a brief explanation on this one, and you're trying to get this closed out, I know.
As some of y'all recall, when we started the Loop project, the entities pledged they would announce to the project the city's contribution that they pledged was $4 million.
Will you pull your mic over a little closer?
Yes. They paid us most of that money in cash. They have asked. They did some work on water lines, sewer lines, going out to 4,000. It added up to $339,489.30. They have asked that they paid us all the money except that amount. They have asked if we would consider that in kind work for the balance of their contribution. I've still got it on my book, so one of the exact one accepted, so I can take it collected or go to.
And those were expenses that were incurred. Mike's here, correct me if I'm wrong. These were incurred by contractors that were providing this work for you as opposed to in-house work that was done.
I don't know if you have the letter I sent over this breakdown of 4 different areas along 2 of the Loop projects. The big one is at 4,000. We had those utilities that was not anticipated until the final design came in place. So those were actual expenses the city paid to contractors and engineers to remove utilities to facilitate the project. So it's actually out of pocket.
Okay, thank you, Mike. You need a picture? Anybody have a question for Carl or for Mike?
Is this water and sewage we ran out 4,000?
They were mostly conflicts where we had to move things.
Had to move some lines?
In particular,
Okay.
intersections where you have conflicts in.
Yeah, these are all referred to as relocations.
Well, I saw a lot of work going on down there, and I know that pipeline came through there, and I wasn't sure what they were, whether they were taking care of that or we were doing it. I knew the water lines and some new lines were being put in there. Judge, I don't have a problem with that.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner Fields to approve this closeout on the city's contribution on behalf of our loop project.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Riddle. Anybody have a question here? Mike, we appreciate the city's contribution. Obviously, this was a county-wide, city-wide project. Several folks contributed towards this. We thank you for your participation, and we look forward to working with you again on future projects. I'll call for a vote if you all are ready. All in favor of accepting the utility relocation costs in the amount of $339,489 as part of the city's contribution of $4 million towards the loop, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 6, consider and possibly approve the replacement of a 2006 Ford patrol car with a retired Sheriff's Office 2009 Dodge for use by the Constable Precinct 1. Chris Durant is here to add any information that you might want to hear. Chris, why don't you just tell us what you're doing here? I think it's obvious, but go ahead and tell us.
This old Ford has a roughly 175,000 miles on it and started to develop quite a big problem. The sheriff has graciously offered to transfer one of these old retired cars over to replace this one. This Ford would be stripped down and then put up for the next county auction.
How much of that equipment can you transfer over to the Dodge or to some other vehicle?
I believe the vehicle is equipped pretty much everything except the radio, so we'll just move the radio out of the Ford into the,
Okay.
strip it down, of course, as far as the striping,
Okay.
restriping the tires. Tires are good. It's a good car. I believe it's been used in the jail as a transport vehicle. It's got 133,000 miles, but a lot of them are road miles. I talked to Lieutenant Garcia in the jail, and he said it's been a really good car. No problem if he's aware of those.
Okay. And then you'll just sell the Ford?
Yeah, the Ford will be stripped down and then put up the next county auction.
Okay.
Is this the one that got Sugar Hill drives?
Yes. It's got several issues. We've been just kind of duct taping it along, and but this would be a good opportunity to replace it. Upgrades for a couple more years. We average probably 5,000 miles a year on it.
Well, I think we should do it. I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Riddle to make this exchange. Sheriff, thanks for making that available to the constable.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, Chris. Item number 7, presentation by David Wall with the Boy Scout Vegetable Garden. This is the garden located by the county jail. Welcome, Dave.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings on behalf of Troop 1, ladies, excuse me. I'll get it right, just let me stand up for a moment. I bring you greetings on behalf of Troop 101, sponsored by the Mount Pleasant Optimist Club. Regrettably, we're doing this during the daytime. I was curious to find out how many of the local Boy Scouts would get an excused absence to be here. Unfortunately, we were only able to get 2, but one of them is our Scoutmaster, Chris Myers, and his son, Jubal. Basically, start off with the unpaid political announcements and update on Troop 101. We've had 46 Eagle Scouts since 1986, and this is, I don't want to say it's unheard of, but it's extremely rare. You normally
Say
get
that
one-
again. How many did you say? 46?
46.
In the last 30 years?
Yes. You normally get 1 to 2 scouts make Eagle per 100. Ours is much higher than that. It's a great troop. I've been involved in scouting off and on since 1954. This is by far the best troop that I've ever been involved with, and that includes when I was a Boy Scout. As for the garden, well, we talked about the good, now we'll talk about the bad and the ugly. This was perhaps the worst year for gardening that many of us have ever seen. Just about anything that could go wrong did. Every time we said, well, it can't get worse, it got worse. We started out in the NTCC greenhouse. We had somewhere between 1,250 and 1,500 seeds that we started out there due to difficulties in regulating the temperature, as well as some person trying to water gently with a fire hose. We lost them all. Fortunately, I have 3 small non-permanent portable greenhouses, and we had enough to get started in there. We started off the 1st of May, everything was really looking great, and then the spring rains hit. We already had plenty of water in the ground. The deep ground was already saturated, which is fine, but then the rains that we got this weekend were merely one of several that we got in May, and it flooded the upper, therefore there was no oxygen in the soil. The plants couldn't do anything. A lot of them died, and others were stunted. I had some 12-inch pepper plants. On the 1st of May, they were 12 inches tall. The 1st of September, they were still 12 inches tall. They just could not get enough to go. This was primarily in the upper portions of the garden where the downflow was the worst. Year before last, or last year, we had a diversion ditch. We forgot to renew it, and the rains came and flooded us out. I said at 12-inch peppers in May and September, it was almost the same for some of the tomatoes in the north end of the garden. We lost all of our okra and our cucumbers, and we basically started out with way less than half the plants that we had last year. In July, I obtained some Armenian cucumber seeds, and we're able to get them started. If you've never seen an Armenian cucumber, as opposed to your standard cucumber in the grocery stores, Armenian cucumbers, there's several different species, from dark green to green with stripes to almost white. Ours were almost white, and they get up to about 18 inches long and up to 4 inches in diameter. We got those going. They grew them when we took them to the Titus County Cares. At first, the people picking up food didn't want them. They had no idea what they were. They finally had to cut into one and let them taste it, and then they started getting into arguments over who was going to get the biggest cucumber. But basically, by the 1st of September, our results were absolutely lousy. But first, the Armenian cucumbers took off, and they were followed by the tomatoes and the peppers. And finally, at the end of September, the gourds really started growing. Last year, we grew over 55,000 vegetables, but this year we had less than half the plants. But thanks to an unbelievably productive fall starting in September and going in through November, we produced like mad. We were able to produce over 28,000 vegetables for the needy, and that's better than half of what we did last year. Conclusions: the garden, though much smaller, was very successful. Again, we thank you for your permissions, letting us out there, letting us work that and do what we wanted to do. 2016 looks very promising. We'll be using the same methods we have, but we're going to try some new ones. One of the things on that slide with the 5 circles on it, we will be putting out a small cage wrapped with burlap, and we're going to fill it with compost. And then we will put cages around that with either vegetables or peppers. And we will water only the compost. If you've never heard of a keyhole version, it's normally a raised bed. They started them in Africa where they get very little water. We're going to do the same thing here, only it's not going to be raised bed. Everything will be flush on the ground. The only thing that we will water will be that core with the compost, and we'll let it, with its nutrients, go down and water and nourish the vegetables. We'll do the same for the gourds, except we won't have cages for them. They'll just roam out wherever they want to go. We plan to put down a lot of hay this year, based on an experiment that we tried out at NTCC. I say we, I was not a part of this. They put down 12 to 14 inches of hay, killed all the weeds. As the hay rots, it provides nourishment, and got unbelievable okra production in 60 days that normally takes at least 90 to 100. So we're going to try that, and then we'll have the usual straight lines as usual. We will also have some new superstar vegetables that we're going to try this year. Basically, we have two primary needs for the coming year. The first one we have or have access to. Thanks to y'all, we can get all the compost, we can get all the mulch we want, and we found a location where we can get high-quality compost for $10 a cubic yard. It's so cheap it almost makes it not worthwhile to try to generate your own. Our biggest problem is that we're going to need probably 2 round or preferably square bales of hay. So if any of you county commissioners have access to a couple of square bales or round bales, we'd be more than willing to take them off your hands. That is, if you could deliver them to us. Bottom line, after 4 years, I've been in the garden 4 years, the scouts have been in there 3. It's getting to be pretty routine. I guess my question to you is, do you want us to come continue to brief? If so, we'll be here. If not, this will be our final briefing. Regardless, we offer our profound thanks. Your support has been invaluable, and we are Troop 101.
Refresh my memory, where does the food go? How do you distribute it?
Titus County Cares gets the overwhelming majority of it. If they're not open, and I suspect there's any possibility of rotting, it goes to the jailers in the garden, at the jail. Please don't put this in the minutes. We were giving it to, when it was, TCC was not open, we were giving it to the senior meal a day center. They don't want it.
They what?
They don't want it. So we stop. And rather than let it rot or go bad, we give it to the jailers.
Yeah, I remember them having that discussion with us and saying they were pretty well set up with
Yes.
regular meals, and the way it didn't fit well for their program. I don't think they had any problem with the food, with your produce. I just think it didn't fit into their program arrangement. All right. We didn't provide you any funds this past year, as I recall, did we?
I can remember being in diapers, but I can't remember 5 minutes ago. I don't recall that you've ever given us any money, just permissions. The fact that you give us that place to use is invaluable. We can't get that anyplace else. I mean, we might be able to make a contract with some farmer out in the country, but this is in town, it's local, it's convenient. We're only, what, 5 or 6 blocks from Titus County Cares. It's been great. What you consider nothing, we consider tremendous. Again, if you want us, we'll be back. If not, it's routine. This will be the final briefing. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say I really appreciate you and all the people involved in the Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts, and all the things that y'all do. You know, it's kind of a dying art how to grow a garden, because I've always had a garden, and I agree with you. This was a terrible, terrible year to have a garden. Just about the time I got everything up, and all of a sudden it turned off dry and everything died, and you just continued to, or it rained too much and it turned yellow and died. So, but this is a dying
and then we went into a flash drought.
Sure, how many people really know the basics of planting, doing a good garden, because it takes a lot of work. You see a good garden, somebody's put in some work, I promise you.
As an aside, one thing that we plan to do in the coming year, we're going to offer to provide gardening briefings at the high school and down into the junior high. We currently do a career day at least one elementary aspects of gardening. We hope to be able to give full briefings to the junior high and high school science classes.
Dave, I'd like to continue to hear from you at least once a year how it's going out there.
Yeah.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, thank you for coming today and being here with us and for having such outstanding results in your troop. Keep up the good work. Item number 8 is consider and possibly approve the allocation of 6,587 square feet at the county-owned facility at 303 East 11th Street to the Texas Health and Human Services Commission for a period of 5 years, beginning November 26, 2016 through November 30th of 2021. And this is Health and Human Services getting way ahead of the curve and coming to us and just making sure that they will continue to have access to that facility. But we grant them the use of that building apparently 5 years at a time. This is the first time that I remember us doing this.
It is.
So I have a document here which is generally speaking a repeat according to the folks over there, and they are simply asking us to grant them another 5 years in that building there at 303 East 11th. This is the same building that I come to you from time to time. They make requests on improvements and repairs to that building, so it is not costing us anything other than providing that building to them. They take care of it and they maintain it and they handle the big expensive repairs and renovations as well. So they're asking for another 5 years. Again, this 5 years essentially is 6 because we're starting here now, but this won't become effective until a year from now in November of 2016.
Judge, I'd go ahead and make a motion. We approve this.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton to go ahead and grant another 5 years to Health and Human Services so they can continue to use that building.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Judge, this is it's really a good program. They do a great job, and if they remodel, if they do something like that, they pay for all of it. All the years, they've always took care of any upgrade or expense or whatever they paid, the state's paid for. Good program.
I skipped number 8. Oh, I'm sorry, I did skip number 8. Let's go back one. Consider and possibly approve changing the tiered payment arrangement with the volunteer fire departments back to equal payments. As a review, we have done this a couple of different ways. We had been paying a flat fixed amount amongst 6 departments back when we had Winfield, then it went down to 5. Then recently we began, at the fire department's request, making tiered payments so that the busiest fire department received the most amount of money, the least busy received the least amount, and there were a couple in the middle. But for whatever reasons, and this is not my decision, this is a decision amongst the fire departments, they felt like it was appropriate to go back to a fixed amount so that everyone is receiving the same amount. Now, this is different from the run money, which is based upon actual runs made by personnel within those departments. This will be the fixed portion, and the request is to go back to $1,200 across the board times the 5 departments for a total of $6,000. I believe we've got approved now $1,400, 12, 12, 1, and 1, I think, which is $5,800. So I believe this is going to add a couple of $100 there. A couple of departments have already agreed. The most recent check that they got, apparently those receiving the most money have already given back some money to those that received the least amount in anticipation of us making this change. I know Christy is ready to cut a check right now, so I asked her to hold off pending this decision here today. But again, this is not my decision. This is coming to me from the chiefs to go back to an even allocation.
Judge, I make a motion we approve going back to paying them all the same.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Just want to make clarification, so payments have already made, they're going to reallocate those amongst themselves.
That's correct. That's correct. And this morning, I received an envelope. Who brought that in? Chief brought this in, so apparently you've each gotten an envelope describing the status on their. You remember we had conversation back at the last meeting about a proposed contract that each of the fire departments would enter into. And I've only briefly looked over this, but it's my understanding that at this time, they're not asking us to ratify those contracts. They're still discussing that and working on that. Some have agreed that they feel like these are some benchmarks that they can all be striving to achieve, and it's going to be their commitment that they're going to be working on this. But at this time, they're asking, again, you've got a copy of this, that we not move forward on ratifying those contracts at this time. So I'll let you all read over those. If you have any comments or want to get that on a future agenda, then let me know about that.
Judge, I have not had enough time to look at this, and I'd like to table this.
Well, there's no that's not an action item. I didn't even know about that until this morning, but take a look at that, and if you would like to take any action in the future, please let me know.
Okay.
While we're here on any volunteer fire department business, anybody want to bring anything to the commissioners? Okay. Item number 10. That's the only one I missed, isn't it, Carolyn? Let's go to number 10, consider and possibly approve payment for a pauper's funeral for Keith Howard Walters in our standard amount of $950. Let me give you just a brief description of this. I'd like you to know what we're doing here. Keith Walters, a resident at Pleasant Springs Nursing Facility for the past 9 years, passed away. We received the call for removal on the 27th of November. Betty Traylor, administrator, was contacted from information given to us by the hospital. She had been unable to contact any family members prior to his passing or after he passed. We've not heard anything from the nursing facilities or facility members by Sunday morning, so we researched and located funeral home records from previous funerals we had handled for this family. Those records indicated at the time he had 3 siblings, 2 sisters, Marlis George and Barbara Pritchard, both of Joplin, Missouri, and 1 brother, Roger Walters of Mesa, Arizona. We were able to contact Miss George and advise her of her brother's passing. She indicated she'd not talked to her brother in 3 years plus, would like to get in touch with her other siblings. Well, apparently they have basically said they are unable to provide any assistance and will not be returning to Texas for this. So the funeral home is asking that we would consider this as a request for a pauper's funeral.
I make a motion to approve it, Judge.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Parker and a second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 11, consider and possibly approve the purchase of a 15-foot shredder through the buy board program. This is for Commissioner Fields, Precinct 2.
Judge, on the buyback, the buy board project, this is state bids where they bid out, different companies bid out to the state bid contract. And what I'd like to do, if we get one, if we order it now or the first of the year, we're probably looking at about April before we would get it. So I want to go ahead and let them know. In the old bush hog, I would sell it in the spring sometime.
What's the approximate cost on something like this?
We're looking right around $16,000.
Okay, and this will be a new?
This will be a new one.
Okay.
What brand?
It just depends on the buy board and what you got, but Rhino has one. John Deere probably is the better built one to some degree, and there's others. I'll just have to look at what's there on that buy board.
All right. That's Commissioner Fields' request to allow him to move forward with purchasing that through the buy board program. Comes as a motion by Commissioner Fields.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor of approving this purchase of a 15-foot shredder, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 12, consider and possibly approve allowing TCEQ to place an air monitoring station on county property, Precinct 4. Apparently this relates to their desire to monitor air from the Welsh plant. Is that right? I turned this request over to Commissioner Parker since that's his precinct. Jimmy, what would you like to do on this, or what can you tell us?
Judge, I give each one of you a copy of what they sent. The guy's name's on the top of it. If anybody wants to talk to him, I've talked to him, and I sent him another email Thursday, I guess it was, but I haven't received anything back. I would like for y'all to look over this and give me your thoughts and ideas on it. It's on our property that we've got out off of 2348 out here. And but I'd like, at this time, I'd like to table this until y'all have a chance to look over this, and I have time to do a little more checking on it myself.
Based on my conversation with him, it looks like these are pretty standard setups, about a 40 by 40 foot fenced in area with a tower, looks like about 25 feet, and a portable trailer. So, all right, his request is to table this, comes in the form of a motion.
Yes.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton to table this matter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, item number 13, consider and possibly approve travel and seminars. First request is from Leonard Rockwell's office to send Chrissy Little to Midwinter Conference in Sugar Land, January 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's $165. Apparently there's two parts to this: Midwinter Conference and REO training. That'll last a full 5 days. There's two portions to the registration. One is $165 for the conference, and then $796 for the REO training. I'm not sure what REO means. Cost of meals, including the day of travel, would be $220. Hotel accommodations, $683.65. She would take a personal vehicle, 560 miles, bringing the total cost for this training to about $2,206, $2,206. Just as a little bit of additional information that I was going to give you here at the end, Leonard, as you know, is retiring at the end of this year. We will be having a meeting of the County Election Commission here within the next week or so, and that entity will make a decision on what to do about his replacement. So Chrissy is at least going ahead and making a reservation for this conference so that we have an opportunity to go and get someone trained, depending upon the outcome, and I will let you know what the outcome is of the Election Commission. That's the first request. The second request is by the sheriff to send Kaylin Avila to Texas National Law Enforcement Telecommunicators School in Smith County, January 22nd through the 25th. And will she be traveling down there and back each day? Is that what that is? Okay. Okay, can't do it online, got to go down there to the school. Where is it, in Tyler?
Yes.
Okay. And so whatever the cost of her meal and fuel, she'll be taking a county vehicle. Third request is by Constable Ray Barrett, Precinct 2, would like to attend in Huntsville, Texas, new constable school training. This is mandatory. It will be the 25th through the 29th, with travel on the 24th and the 29th. No registration cost, meals and travel day, $220, hotel, $469, take a personal vehicle, $273 approximate mileage for the 475 anticipated miles, bringing in an approximate total $961. Fourth request is John Mark Coburn's to send Paul Lindsay to 2016 Investigator School in San Antonio in February, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. $350 registration, $220 worth of per diem meals, $642 in hotel, take a personal vehicle, 784 miles, bringing a grand total of $1,662. Final request is from Clerk Deborah Abston in the District Clerk's office to attend County and District Clerk's legal education in Round Rock in April. She is anticipating these costs: $250 registration, $140 of per diem meals, $347 in hotel, and then mileage costs of $332, bringing the total to $1,120. Those are the 5 requests.
Make a motion to approve travel.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton for approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 14, approve oral and written reports.
Computer is down and I can't run off. I can't run off the edge.
Really? Huh. All right, so we're going to table that. What do we need to do? Okay. How about as soon as they are available, that you get them to us? If I feel like we need to have a special meeting to go over that, I will call one at any of these guys' request. Otherwise, we'll go over both of these at that time. Okay, well then I'm going to ask that you allow us to table item number 14 until the meeting on the 28th, if not before then.
Make a motion to table it till the next.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 15. Cheryl, have you got us a report? Good girl. Good. Cheryl figured out a way. It's your backup generator.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve treasurer's report.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Parker for approval. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 16, approve budget amendments.
Does have one budget amendment. This is number 71. This is just a line item change. When we first approved the money for the fire department, for the fire truck for the city and the fire truck for Cookville, we put them in capital outlay, but they're holding the titles to those in those individual entities' names. So I reclassified it from capital outlay to just other expense because we only included in capital outlay if we're going to hold the titles in our name. And I think it was mentioned to y'all the other day that if something happens to one of those volunteer fire departments, even though that equipment's titled in their name, it comes back to the county.
This was for both of those vehicles, the big engine as
Right.
well as the
Big
cab and chassis?
Yes, yes.
It's my understanding, I got a text on Friday night that the new truck had come in. Is that right? Do you know about that? When we say it's come in, it's actually here in Mount Pleasant, the new engine? It's, sir? It's Central. Okay, good. You taking it for a spin? Not yet? Okay, good. Okay, any questions about this adjustment? Okay, that is the only one.
Judge, I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendment.
Motion by Commissioner Parker to approve budget item, amendment item number 71. This affects the last fiscal year, 14 and 15.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Parker, second by Commissioner Hinton. Sorry about that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 17, sign pay orders and approve payments.
Make a motion to pay bills.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parker for approval. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 18, closing comments. I mentioned to you about Leonard. Remember, Leonard will be retiring. I got his official letter, I believe, on Thursday afternoon. Also, I want to tell you about a call I just got from Bob Ratcliffe literally 15 minutes before our meeting started. He and Dennis Beckham got on the phone, and they wanted to let us know that apparently the last payment that we got for the loop was based on some erroneous information, and it reflected higher traffic counts than were actual. And so he's just letting us know, don't be looking for these giant payments going forward necessarily. They're still calculating what this payment that is about to be due. In fact, I think we had a payment due in the month of December. We may not get it until January. Well, our payment's not due, but I think the payment from them, he was saying they were, but they're still waiting on some actual traffic counts on 4,000, which will go into the mix. So I think worst case, be looking for the minimum payment. I don't know, they don't know at this point how it's going to affect it, but there were some errors in whatever method that they had used was over counting. So we got excited about that, but we'll still look forward to at least the minimums, and hopefully we'll be achieving a little better than the minimum. But anyway, I wanted you to know about that. They called knowing we were having a meeting and wanted me to share that with you.
Well, I think they're going to be surprised, Judge, at the count that we're going to have on 4,000. Every time I go through there, you can look back east, and as far as you can see, you see 8, 9, 10 cars. So I think you're going to see the count be a lot higher than we anticipated, but that's me. So.
Okay, Commissioner.
If they would raise the speed limit, more people would use that, because you can go through town as fast as you can go through the loop.
And it's my understanding that they're going to be doing that. I thought it might have been done by now, but it hasn't happened yet. So we've expressed that. We agree with you. I personally agree with you. Unfortunately, we don't get to make that call. All we can do is make requests and encourage. And I invite any of you to do the same thing. Call Roger Ledbetter. Roger is very responsive to us, and he hears you loud and clear. Oh, there's Leonard there in the back. How didn't you see you, Leonard? Did I say everything right here on that school that we were sending Chrissy to? Any comments that you've got? And you don't have to come up. I just want to make sure I didn't miss allowing you to say anything if you wanted to say something.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say I thought it was important to send her to school to get her ready. If she's a appointee to take this job over, that it would prepare her and she would be ready to do that. And also that we, the fund that we accumulate, we had enough money in that fund to pay for this trip, but wouldn't be any expense on the county.
I forgot you told me that.
Chapter 19 fund, we could pay for that. And I think it'd be good for her to go and get prepared for the responsibility that she might have if she's appointed to take the job.
Good deal. All right, and you and I are going to meet this afternoon to go look at your storage building. Is that right?
Yes,
Very good. That's all that I had. Commissioner Riddle?
I'd like to mention I know that the commissioners voted to have all the meetings in the daytime at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we got a list of the people that attended daylight and the mornings and the evening meetings through the last 12 months. And they were only the people that have been to more than three meetings or more. And it was like 92 at night and 70 in the daytime. That's a pretty good amount, I think. But I figured all the people, some of them just one-timers, and it was like 79 in the daytime and 170 at night. Now, I took the same thing that we did before, but just to point out that I think there is a lot more people at night, and some of them were just 1 or 2 times, but and I dismissed all the people here for business. I put a B by their name that I could identify. Now, sometimes I could have been wrong. I didn't recognize somebody, and I counted them as a business, or maybe vice versa. So, but it's pretty close to being accurate, plus or minus 3 or 4.
But you didn't necessarily remove employees, though, did you?
Yes, I left employees off.
Okay.
And employees. And I just put the people that are here for business, like a firm and office come by, or the buy board, they come by advertising their services, and I put them down as a B, a business person. And that's, it is. So there's quite more difference than if you counted the regular peoples that we did before when we voted. But I realize the vote's made, and of course I voted no, but I just wanted that for the record.
And I do have attendance records for the last 2 years if anybody wanted to see those. I'm not disputing anything you have to say there. Thank you for taking the time to do that. We do have those available, and we'll continue to keep records on that, and we'll continue to consider that decision, I'm sure, in the future. Commissioner Fields?
Had a Commissioners Court meetings of November the 14th, 2014. Also, it's on the tape. This is what was discovered. The subject was brought up about Chris Basham, and had not gave us the information that was needed. And I think in this, the Commissioners Court meeting, it does show on that last page the different people that he has worked with and different people that knew him. Then it was emailed by Chris to all the commissioners. Especially, it was sent to Al, but we all got copies of it this last year. And these are people who had worked with Chris. And I'm just going to make a couple of quotes, and then that's it. But I do want to show that there was references. There were people that recommended Chris. Chamber of Commerce, his vision and belief in Mount Pleasant continues to make significant impact in the direction of Mount Pleasant. And then, and there's some individuals and companies and stuff, but this was the Chamber of Commerce. And then Northeast Texas Community College that says Chris has sold this community on the vision and the value that good planning brings. He is resourceful, energetic, and highly creative professional, and thinker, and that gets community leaders to think outside the box. And you go through here, and I think there's like 20 references in here and different things in here, but I'd like you to take them and look at them. But he did give us information where he had worked, things he had done in the past, and that's all I have.
Commissioner Hinton?
I'd just like to say that, like everybody, to take note that we've had several culverts wash out. County Road 3070 is closed. 3375 is closed for the time being. We're taking a look at it. We have other culverts. 3290 is closed. And we just have lots of washout places on culverts we're trying to take care of. We had quite a bit of rain, and just be patient with us on 3070. It's going to be probably after Christmas before we can do anything with it. Getting dry material and so.
Okay.
But that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Parker.
I'd just like to add a little bit to that. I've got 3 roads that are closed right at the present. One of them's more than likely going to be after Christmas. It's an old iron bridge that has never been replaced that we're going to have to do something with. There's people on each end of the road, but nobody there where it's at, so it's an area that we can close off and just be a little inconvenience that they'll have to go around. That's County Road 4754. And the other one, well, we had First Street out here underwater, County Road 4705 for most of the day yesterday, part of the night, Saturday night, most all day yesterday and last night. It's reopened this morning. Don't know for sure yet. The guys were checking damage on the road this morning. Don't know for sure how bad it was, but the other road is 3285. We had a culvert over there that about half of it was washed out, and one of Pugh's school buses goes through there every day. We're going to try to get it back up and open this afternoon. And then another one was 4265 that we had to close just temporarily. We've got to do a little work on the culvert on it. But hopefully after today, everything but that one bridge will be back up and open and going.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Judge, I would like to say, as far as I know, we don't have anything washed out, but you got to understand, we had some roads underwater, and we thought they were still solid. We could see them, but we really were checking this morning to see what we have. We'll have a better idea this afternoon. But overall, mainly thing what I had was big trees falling. The ground's so saturated and they just fell. I had 2 big bull pines fall all the way across the road, 2 fences and the road. But anyway, we got those opened up yesterday. Also, I want to thank Tri-Lake for helping out there. And I know all the volunteer fire departments do this, but I do know that Tri-Lake was out there also helping yesterday, and we greatly appreciate the help. They find a big tree, they call us, and we can go to that spot. They take care of the smaller trees and just put it off to the side. But that really makes a big difference. Also, the sheriff has helped us up north some on some projects on where trees are falling. He lives up in that area, and he has a tractor, and he has help there. People don't have to do this, but they do, and we greatly appreciate it. It gets the roads open a lot quicker. Also, we had probably 7 or 8 of our county roads underwater, so we should know more this afternoon. Okay.
All right.
All I have.
Unless there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Yes, sir.
I may have missed it, but back to item 12, where y'all both to bring all the fire departments back to the same amount.
That was item
Number 8.
number 8. Okay.
I heard Mr. Hinton.
Can I get you to come up to the mic just so we can hear you, but I just want to make sure it's available on our recording.
I heard Mr. Hinton make the motion, but I didn't hear a second or y'all vote on it. Did I miss that? I did.
Yeah, I think it was unanimously approved.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay. No, I want you to be sure. Yeah,
Seconded.
I second it.
no problem. All right, motion to adjourn if there's nothing else. Motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thanks, everyone.